This is what happens when some of the most famous people on the planet walk into a room and nobody has any idea who they are, and the awkwardness that follows is so brutal you can feel it through the screen. Kesha once ran up to Jerry Seinfeld on a red carpet and begged him for a hug. And this man looked at her like she was a complete stranger.
Kesha, I love you so much.
Oh, thanks.
Can I give you a hug?
No, thanks.
Please?
No, thanks.
A little one.
Yeah, no, thanks.
Adam Sandler walked into an IHOP, and a teenage hostess told him he would have to wait 30 minutes for a table like everybody else. He just shrugged and walked out without saying a word. Nobody is safe from being completely invisible, no matter how famous they think they are. Jerry Seinfeld is one of the most successful comedians in TV history and the creator of one of the biggest sitcoms ever. He also has a strict rule about not hugging strangers. Kesha learned that in 2017 at the Kennedy Center during a charity event. Kesha spotted him mid-interview and rushed over excited. She interrupted and said, "I love you so much," then went in for a hug. Jerry stepped back and said, "No thanks," smiling but clearly not interested.
Charger, like anytime you want to charge up your phone, you just plug it in. Because it's hard to just sleep when you're tired, because people are tired most of the time.
Kesha, I love you so much.
Oh, thanks.
Can I give you a hug?
No, thanks.
Please?
No, thanks.
A little one.
Yeah, no, thanks.
Oh.
That was a nice moment.
I don't know who that was.
Yeah, it was Kesha.
Okay. Well, I wish you the best.
You can look it up after. Wake up like P. Diddy, bottle of Jack, that whole thing.
Okay. Anyway, that's it.
So
Thank
plugging
you.
your charger.
She tried again. "A little one," she said, leaning in. Jerry backed up further, hands raised, and repeated, "No thanks." He said it again when she kept moving closer. He never gave in. Kesha walked away embarrassed. Jerry turned back to the interviewer, calm as ever. When told it was Kesha, he said, "I don't know who that was," sounding genuinely confused.
Gotta ask you, because it's gone, everyone's talking about it, the hug.
The hug.
The non-hug.
Yeah. I'm 63. I don't know every pop star. I don't know everyone.
But they say you're not a hugger now.
I'm not. Well, as a total stranger.
You sure?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
But I know you
We're
how
gonna-
many years?
I'm just saying, though.
I know you 20 years,
You
I
took
think.
yeah, but
Honest, how long are you at this racket?
it's been a while.
How long?
Almost 20 years.
Okay, I know
Thank
you
Jer-
20
Thank
years.
you, Jerry.
Yeah.
Thank you. He's
Okay.
lying. He's lying.
Later, Jerry explained he does not hug people he does not know. Kesha laughed it off and joked, "No hugs for you," referencing his show. And if a pop star can get shut down 3 times by a comedian who has no idea she exists, imagine what happens when regular, everyday people have no clue they are dealing with Hollywood royalty. Adam Sandler is one of the most recognizable comedians in Hollywood history, with decades of blockbuster movies and a face that most people in America could pick out of a crowd in about half a second. None of that mattered when he walked into an IHOP on Long Island with his daughter in 2021. He was wearing a hoodie and basketball shorts and had a face mask on, which, to be fair, is basically the disguise kit that every celebrity uses when they want to blend in. A teenage hostess named Diana Rodas looked at him and saw absolutely nothing special. She told him there was a 30-minute wait for a table, and Sandler just nodded politely and decided it was not worth hanging around. He did not pull the "do you know who I am" card. He did not ask to speak to a manager. He just left like any normal person who did not feel like waiting half an hour for pancakes. Diana figured out what happened later and posted the security camera footage to TikTok with a clown face filter on herself, basically roasting her own obliviousness for the entire internet to see. The video blew up, and Sandler responded with his own joke, saying he only left because the all-you-can-eat deal did not apply to the milkshakes. The whole thing turned into something genuinely wholesome when IHOP launched a Milkshake Monday event donating $1 per milkshake sold to charity, and Sandler actually came back to the same restaurant and reunited with Diana for the occasion. The girl who turned away a superstar ended up becoming part of one of the most heartwarming celebrity stories of that entire year. And if Adam Sandler can get turned away from a pancake house without anyone blinking, imagine what happens when a global action star cannot even get into his own party. Keanu Reeves is one of the most beloved actors on the planet and the star of franchises that have made billions of dollars worldwide, and none of that meant anything to a nightclub bouncer who would not let him through the door. After wrapping the film Daughter of God, Keanu showed up to his own movie's after-party at a club and got stopped at the entrance by security, who had zero idea who he was. Instead of making a scene or demanding special treatment, Keanu just stood there, in the rain, for 20 straight minutes, waiting patiently like he was in line for a sandwich at a deli. His chauffeur, Ronnie Sunshine, described the whole thing afterward, saying that nobody recognized him because Keanu just looks ordinary. He said Keanu did not act like he had money and that he just thought the guy was some kind of rock and roller standing outside getting wet. The star of The Matrix could not get into his own celebration, and his response was to stand there like the most patient man on earth, until his friends eventually showed up and helped sort it out. That is the kind of story that makes people love Keanu Reeves, because any other celebrity would have lost their mind in that situation, and he just waited in the rain without a single complaint. But at least Keanu was dealing with a stranger. The next story involves two massive celebrities standing right next to each other, with one of them having absolutely no clue. Ed O'Neill is the guy who played Al Bundy on Married with Children, and Jay Pritchett on Modern Family, which means he has been on television for literal decades and multiple generations of audiences know his face. His knowledge of pop music, however, is basically non-existent, and that became painfully obvious at LAX airport. Britney Spears spotted Ed sitting in the terminal and got genuinely excited because she was a fan of his work. She went up to him and asked for a selfie, and Ed, being a friendly guy, said sure, and took the photo with her. The problem is that Ed had absolutely no idea he was sitting next to one of the most famous pop stars in the history of music. He thought she was just a nice fan who wanted a picture. Britney posted the photo on Twitter, gushing about how sweet he was. And that is when Ed's manager and his daughter saw it and had to break the news to him. His daughter straight up called him a moron for not recognizing Britney Spears.
So I had to, tell my little story. I'm sorry. So I apologize.
I love that, though. I think it's a fabulous... No one else taking a picture with Britney Spears would have that look on their face.
When Ed told the story on Ellen, he pointed at the photo and said, "Look at my face. Do I look like I know I am sitting with Britney Spears?" The man looked completely unimpressed in the picture, while Britney was beaming like she had just met her hero.
Now, there's a picture of you that's gone sort of viral. It's a picture of you and Britney Spears. People were talking about it a lot. What's the story here in this photo?
I was in the airport at LAX. I was going to Hawaii, and I had this crazy little hat. It's a Modern Family hat, but I had it off, and they told me my flight was boarding, so I just flopped it on. I was going to get up, and this lovely lady came up to me and said, she'd like a picture.
Right.
And I said, well, my flight's leaving. She said, oh, please, I love your show, and you're my favorite on it. I thought, I'm the only one here, But I said, okay, fine. Here, sit here.
Right.
And we did it. So I said, bye.
So you had no idea it was Britney Spears? No. You really had no idea?
So the next day, my manager called me and said, what is this? And he sent me this picture. He said, 53,000 likes.
Wow. Wow.
And my
That's a lot of
16-year-old
likes.
daughter said, you are a moron.
You had never heard? That is funny.
Ed later admitted that his pop culture knowledge is basically nil, which might be the understatement of the century when you are sitting 3 feet from Britney Spears and think she is just some random person at the airport. And if Ed could not recognize Britney, it turns out that Britney herself was about to end up on the other side of that exact same situation. During her Piece of Me residency in Las Vegas, Britney had a part of her show during the song Freak Show, where she would pull a random audience member on stage for a playful dance routine. One night, the guy she picked happened to be Colton Haynes, who was starring on both Arrow and Teen Wolf at the time, and had millions of fans of his own.
Oh! Show still goes on, right? Yeah! Okay, I think it's time for us to find can we take this off? It's really hot, right? It's like 136 degrees today. I think it's time for us to find a really hot guy and pick him up here right now. Oh my god! Oh my goodness, so many beautiful people! Holy wow! Woo! know, but if you don't, then now you know. Let it flow, so let it just go. It's crazy how let's make it like that. Make 'em clap when we perform. Wanna be crazy, we can show.
Britney had no idea. She treated him like any other cute guy from the crowd, strapping him into a leather harness and having him crawl around on all fours as part of the act, while thousands of people in the audience who absolutely knew who Colton was watched the whole thing unfold.
Dancing tabletop, freaky, freaky, so outside the door. Some superstar-ish, pushing hot, we got our lips up, and new designer fits, we can do it if we ready. Said me and my girls want to get it on. Rap is a couple boys and girls. Me and my girls want to get it on. Rap is a couple boys and girls. Said me and my girls want to get it on.
After the song, Britney grabbed the microphone and asked him his name like he was just some random dude. When he said Colton, she turned to the crowd and said, "Give it up for him. He is so beautiful and his," which sent the entire venue into hysterics because everyone except Britney knew she was complimenting a famous actor like he was a nobody she had just discovered.
Rap is a couple boys and girls. What's your name? Give it up for Colton, everyone! You're an amazing dancer. Oh my goodness. You are too. Wow. Call me anytime. Give it up for Colton! Oh, everyone's so beautiful in his. Really? Really? Wow.
The clip went massively viral, and Colton played it up afterward, offering himself for dance hire. And Britney just shrugged the whole thing off because, famous or not, the man was attractive and she had no regrets. Now, if celebrities not recognizing each other in casual settings is awkward, imagine what happens when it involves actual royalty. Margot Robbie was at a private house party in London when she ended up in a photo booth with a friendly red-headed guy wearing glasses. They chatted and took pictures together, and Margot thought the whole time that she was hanging out with Ed Sheeran, because the red hair and glasses combination made perfect sense to her.
You're from Australia, but you've lived in London for a little while, right?
Yes, yeah.
And I want to show you a picture right here. You go into this party, your friend's having a party, right? Yeah, and they have a photo booth at the party?
Yeah, I should just stay out of those things.
No, I think it ended up, look, I mean, look how much fun you guys are all having, right? That's great, yeah. Now explain.
My tongue is out in every photo. I swear.
Yeah, that was like a theme there. Yeah.
No, just
Who's your friend, Miley Cyrus?
I know, right?
Whose party was it?
It was Suki Waterhouse's. She was having a housewarming party. So.
Yeah, so you just go into this party and you run into somebody. Because I've got to show us again and people won't believe who's in the photo.
Oh, God.
No, but it's fun. Explain it. What? Somebody answers the door, right?
Well, no, yeah, someone was kind of holding the door and I was like, oh, can I help you? He had heaps of things in his hands. I was like, oh, can I help you? And he was like, oh, yeah, thanks. And then I dropped something and he helped me find it. And then I was like, oh, you going in here? He's like, yeah. And I was like, oh, cool, me too.
It was Prince Harry, an actual member of the British royal family. When Margot casually mentioned that he looked like Ed Sheeran, Harry reportedly snapped because he realized she was being completely serious and not joking. Margot later told this story on a talk show describing her absolute mortification when she found out she had accidentally downgraded a prince to a pop singer right to his face.
Kind of very polite and very you go,
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah, and then turns out it's Prince Harry.
Yes.
This is Prince Harry.
Yeah, but...
This guy. That's Prince Harry! What are you talking about? You don't know who Prince Harry is?
Look.
He's the coolest! You go to a party and know it's Prince. I know he's not dressed like Prince Harry.
He's not wearing a crown, though. Like, I don't know it's a prince. Like,
It's like doing an impression of David Letterman or something. I don't know what he's doing. Yeah, but it's very interesting. He's in a
when I
boy
saw him
band.
in those glasses, I was like, oh my God, I didn't know Ed Sheeran was at the party. And, and he got really offended.
Oh, no, he did not.
He's like, shut up.
You know he lip syncs him in his bedroom.
She can laugh about it now, and Harry apparently took it in stride eventually. But in the moment, that had to be one of the most uncomfortable corrections any human being has ever received. You thought you were meeting a musician, and instead, you accidentally insulted royalty. And while Margot's mix-up was painfully embarrassing, the next encounter is the complete opposite because it ended in pure joy. At Coachella in 2019, Billie Eilish was riding the wave of her explosive rise to fame when Katy Perry introduced her to a charming British guy named Orlando. Billie said hello and was perfectly polite, but walked away from the conversation without a single clue that she had just been face-to-face with the actor who played Legolas in Lord of the Rings and Will Turner in Pirates of the Caribbean.
I'm so good. I gotta confess, my fiance, I'm a huge fan, obviously. But my fiance who doesn't listen to, he listens to a lot of music.
I literally had you.
He literally will only play you in the car.
That guy.
All the time. Thank you, bro. There it goes. Wait, I want to take
How are you?
I'm doing good.
So proud of you.
Congrats.
Yeah.
And I love you. And I wanted to say that this is going to be wild for 10 years. It's going to be crazy if you ever want to talk. Because it's a real ride.
Oh.
I know you know. Yeah. I did not know that was him. I thought that was just some dude Katy Perry met. Oh my God.
Her brother Phineas had to break it to her backstage. He started listing off movies, and Billie's face went through about 7 stages of disbelief. She literally jumped up and started demanding that someone bring him back so she could meet him again properly, because she could not believe she had been standing right next to one of her movie heroes and treated him like some random guy at a festival. The whole thing was captured in her documentary, and the footage of Billie's jaw dropping when she realizes that the nice British dude who kissed her on the cheek was actually Orlando Bloom is one of the most genuinely wholesome moments in any celebrity documentary ever made. She went from casual to completely starstruck in about 3 seconds flat. That reaction is proof that sometimes not recognizing someone leads to the most real and memorable moments possible. But the greatest unrecognized celebrity story of all time involves the most famous woman who has ever lived. Queen Elizabeth II had her face on the currency of multiple nations, which makes her arguably the most recognizable human being who has ever lived. And even she managed to walk around completely unrecognized.
Well, one of my favourite stories is when we were at Balmoral, and the Queen used to go up there in May to Craiggowan House and just stay there privately for a weekend. And she would go out at lunchtime for picnics, and very often it would just be the police officer and Her Majesty. And one of the picnics I went out with her, we had a lovely picnic and a lovely chat, and then we went for a little walk, just the two of us. And normally on these picnic sites, you meet nobody, but there was 2 hikers coming towards us, and the Queen would always stop and say hello. And it was 2 Americans on a walking holiday. And it was clear from the moment that we first stopped, they hadn't recognised the Queen, which is fine.
Near her Balmoral estate in Scotland, the Queen was walking in her casual tweeds and headscarf with her bodyguard Richard Griffin when they ran into a pair of American tourists. The tourists had no idea they were talking to the actual Queen of England. They chatted casually and asked her how long she had been visiting Balmoral. She told them she had been coming since she was a little girl, which was technically the truth since she had been going there for over 80 years.
The American gentleman was telling the Queen where he came from, where they were going to next, and where they'd been to in Britain. And I could see it coming, and sure enough, he said to Her Majesty, "And where do you live?" And she said, "Well, I live in London, but I've got a holiday home just the other side of the hills." And he said, "Well, how often have you been coming up here?" Oh, she said, I've been coming up here ever since I was a little girl, so over 80 years. And you could see the clogs thinking. He said, well, if you've been coming up here for 80 years, you must have met the Queen. And as quick as a flash says, well, I haven't, but Dick here meets her regularly. So the guy said to me, oh, you've met the Queen, what's she like? And because I was with her a long time and I knew I could pull a leg, I said, oh, she can be very cantankerous at times, but she's got a lovely sense of humour. Anyway, the next thing I knew, this guy comes around, put his arm around my shoulder, and before I could see what was happening, he gets his camera, gives it to the Queen, and says, can you take a picture of the two of us? Anyway, we swapped places, and I took a picture of them with the Queen, and we never let on, and we waved goodbye. And then Her Majesty said to me, I'd love to be a fly on the wall when he shows those photographs to the friends in America, and hopefully someone tells him who I am.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Then they asked the question that made this story legendary. They asked her if she had ever met the Queen. Without missing a beat, she pointed to her bodyguard and said, no, but he has. The tourists then handed their camera to the Queen of England and asked her to take their photo with the bodyguard. She took the picture. They even posed with her afterward, thinking she was just a friendly old lady they met on a hike. They had absolutely no idea until much later that they had spent quality time with the most famous woman on the planet and asked her to be their photographer. If the Queen of England can end up as a tourist's photographer and Keanu Reeves can stand in the rain outside his own party without anyone caring, then no amount of fame guarantees that a single person will know who you are when it matters. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss another one.